Valentine's Day weekend is over, huge Yu-Gi-Oh news, so it's time to talk about the one thing that I love that will never abandon me, even if it does alienate me from the majority of society. Cue title scene. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh News, where I, Kevin Jones, once a week, will tell you the stories that are happening in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Hence name, Yu-Gi-Oh News. That might be obvious, but it is still worth mentioning. First, a thing so amazing, so crazy, it will change the way the game is played, in that I don't know when we will actually get this here in the States. A new ruling in the OCG will state the following. Starting March 21st, the player who goes first turn cannot conduct their draw phase. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, this is terrible, this is awful, this changes the game, we're turning into Magic the Gathering! But the more I thought about it, the more I think this actually makes sense and will help balance the game out a bit, especially when it comes to playing duels like Evil Swarms, which need a first turn advantage, or even some decks like Constellars, which can take very big advantage of first turn. And it also sort of helps, keep things a little more straightforward. Makes you need to think, is it really better for me to go first or second, instead of typically go first, set all your traps, do this, do that, and just get an insane lead in the beginning. Will this permanently change insane leads showing up first? No. There will always be decks that can get around things. There will always be ways to take advantage of rulings, and there will always be players who just figure out how to go really sacky on the first turn. But the thing is that this does help balance it out and make things a bit more fair and even, which you kind of need to do in a world where a good portion of decks just go troll on the first turn. So, do I think this is a great change? Yes, but one thing that actually has my interest piqued is another ruling change. From this day forward, in that March 21st, you, if you're in the OCG, will once again get this new ruling, in that you can have both players have a field spell on at once. Now, for those of you who don't know, field spells are those obscure random spells that really were only ever used by Dragon Rulers spell books, and I forget what's using them right now, because basically when a good duelist gets a good field spell off, you're screwed. But that's not important. Now, when a field spell is on, it has effects that usually affect everything, but typically you can only have one on at one time. Meaning, like, if my opponent has Dragon's Ravine, and I'm about to play Fusion Gate, their Dragon's Ravine is destroyed. But now both players can have a field spell on at the same time. Once again, this doesn't uber change things. This isn't going to make or break the game, but it's an interesting new ruling and a new way to change things. Now, both these rulings will not go into effect here in the TCG on March 21st as they will in Japan. No announcement yet if we will get them or when we will get them, but I imagine it will soon, because at big tournaments like Worlds and stuff, they go with the OCG ruling on things. So, therefore, yeah, we're going to have to get those eventually. So prepare, people. Next, news on Pendulum Summoning. Still very confusing. But we do know it will most likely not come with the introduction of a new card type. This is merely just a way for summoning higher level monsters that involves something like a pendulum scale and swinging and new things on monsters and more scales, and I'll get to that when we learn more about it and like the official rules on it comes out, not just a magazine scan. But it is turning out that Pendulum Summoning is going to be something very interesting, and I'm glad it's not just more extra deck clogging and something that might make the game a bit more balanced, although I have a feeling if it is going to be about getting out higher level monsters, Monarchs may get really broken, especially with these Mega Monarch bastards. And finally, we have some anime news. Our plot has been a bit more revealed to us. Essentially, it will revolve around our hero Yugioh, who's at a duel academy. Fuck. I'm not gonna lie, I hated the concept of the Duel Academy in GX. I hated the concept of the Duel Academy in 5Ds. I was so glad to see it go for Zale, but it's back. Only this time it comes with something a little bit more interesting. No confirmation on if Yugioh's personality is what it's rumored to be, but we do know that Yugioh will be something called an entertainment duelist. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's like show riding. Maybe it's like bull riding, maybe it's got something to do with hippos, which would explain the hippo, but nothing yet on what that means. We also learned our main girl for this series, Yugioh, or something like that. She is a childhood friend of our hero, And she's apparently the son of the person who, the daughter, because she's a girl. Daughters are girls. She is the daughter of the person who runs their school. And also, she apparently gives pep talks, and I guess she's really friendly, and please, just make her a bit more useful more than Kotori. Last but not least is another character whose name I will butcher, Reiji Abakai. Who is this guy? What does he want? I have no idea. All that was said is that he is the second CEO of the Leo Corporation, which gives off something like action duels, whatever that's supposed to mean. Now, many people would assume that he will be our rival, because typically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Fashion, we learn the characters in the order of protagonist, leading girl, and rival. But a part of me can't help wonder, maybe this is the villain. He clearly looks to be many years older than Yuya. And even though, yes, Seto Kaiba was also a CEO, and Jack Atlas was clearly older than Yusei, this is a little bit different. This character is clearly a great much older than our hero, and it would be kind of interesting if we get the villain first, then rival. If anyone saw Zale, they know that they kind of took a couple unconventional turns with our main rival. And it is interesting to see if they continue down this path. And also, this guy looks very villainesque in just his appearance. Mostly because glasses make good bad guys. Yeah. But that is it for this week's Yu-Gi-Oh! News. Leave in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought of any and all of these stories. Leave a like and click to subscribe, because as the weeks roll by, I will unveil more and more Yu-Gi-Oh! News as it is unveiled to me.